Another good morning, 8 degrees, still winter, so fingers are still quite cold. But before we start here, let me just show you what the plan is here. I've got the drone up there to make it a little bit more clear. So where I'm standing now, and you'll see it's quite wet here because I have been wetting the area to make digging easier and to start working on a little bit of soil health here with the crushed bale that came down the hill, if you remember from Instagram. So on this side I've got the rocky bed, which you've seen before, and this will be the garden bed that I've put or packed the rocks here, will be filled with good soil. And these poles were actually here for a different reason, but I'm going to use them for this. Makes for a nice corner, makes for a nice shade net mount and pipe mounts and so on. And this also formed the corner of this area. So let's start from this corner. I've already dug this pole here about 40 centimeters, as deep as I can go with the crowbar in this rock, and that will extend down to a pole in the corner here, a support pole, as well as over here where the crowbar is lying, a corner pole. I don't know what size this is. I kind of measured this out in terms of my requirements, not really in any specific unit here. Then I've got a support pole over here, which is about 30 centimeters deep, and a corner pole here, which is another 40 centimeters deep, and it's quite wet because of the water retention here that I've been pushing in water. It makes digging the rock a whole lot easier. Then I've got another one I need to do over here, which goes back to the corner there. So in this rectangle that I'm standing here, I've got quite a bit of space, and it's going to be primarily for planting. So we've got food areas there, it's going to be shade net, open sun areas, and then on this side I'm hoping to do where the fence is on the outside of this rectangle, maybe do a building where I'm going to be doing some indoory stuff, some growing, some storage, the seeds, the fertilizers, and where I actually plan to make the JLF and all the other Jadam solutions, like the microbial solution. So that is the plan. Keeping them inside kind of keeps them warm. These things kind of ferment and brew easier when they're in a warmer space, and it's quite cold here at night. As you can see, the soil here is pretty good. I've been keeping it wet, but there's so much life here. It goes pretty deep here, so I can machine a little bit out of this, prepare it a bit, and then use the hay from over there and start covering here and start doing some soil building. And that is quite important to start now, because you can never start too soon to do soil building. I am aiming to get each one of them in there at least 300 mils. Okay, seems like it's gonna have to be just about here. And looking at that rock line coming down here, this is gonna be gnarly as well. I think this is good enough now. It's not a corner post. Now that previous mix of cement was a doozy. This is better. This is a 1-2-2 mix. been about an hour and this bad mix of wet cement is solidifying quite well. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. So as always, busy week. Got irrigation in the greenhouse. We've got seedlings in the greenhouse. Got a few poles planted here, minus one for the gate and a missing pole over there. So the next phase for this project would be to not only build soil here, but to move in some organic matter from the sheep kraal and from our own compost pile, and also bring in some other at least fertile soil from wherever I can find it to fill up the rock bed. Then we need to start getting some perimeter around this, some fencing and shade netting to keep out, first of all, our own animals, and then after that wild animals. But I'm happy with the progress. It's just slower than anticipated. Summer waits for nobody.